What's going on, YouTube? Tomorrow is game three of the NBA Finals for 2022 versus the Warriors and the Boston Celtics. It's going to be in Binghamton. It's going to be in Boston. So, home game for Boston. We know that Boston has lost some games. I think the last game they lost at home was game 6 against Miami. So, that's kind of scary for Boston fans. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about game three, and we're gonna talk about some of the things that Boston can do to make sure they don't lose this whole game, and some of the things that the Golden State Warriors can do to take this 2-1 lead. So we'll talk about that as well, and we're gonna play some sound bites from some of the players, and then we're gonna get into some other things as well. But first and foremost, man, make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel, man. Go on over there. If you're watching from Facebook, go ahead over to YouTube. Subscribe to us there. Hit the notification bell and give us a like and thumbs up and all that stuff, man. Make sure y'all keep coming back. But I wanted to start with playing Jason Tatum's comments, and this was not part of the media day today, because it's some more comments and sound bites that came out of the media day. Preferably something Draymond Green said that was quite hilarious, talking about Cedric Maxwell's comment that he made about him getting knocked out if he played in the 90s. I just heard that probably like 5-10 minutes ago, man. I couldn't I couldn't load it up real quick. I would have been late, but that was kind of funny. But immediately after the game, the post games, Jason Tatum was asked about Draymond Green's impact on the game and all that good stuff. And I'm gonna play that, and then we'll talk about it on the other end. All right, let me play that right now.
Obviously, you know, we know what Draymond brings to the game, and I love that about him. Obviously I played with him, and we tried to match that, and I just kind of felt like we weren't getting the benefit of the doubt. When we were trying to play with that, physicality. We do got to take better care of the ball. They got a lot of points off our turnovers. That's something we got to be better. For next game. Because we know, throughout the playoffs, the games that we have high turnovers, we kind of result into a loss. So that's definitely a point of emphasis, taking care of the ball for next game.
So he kind of took the high road toward the end and started talking about what they did or didn't do well enough to help them get a win. And that was them, having 19 turnovers. And, he talked about, throughout the playoffs, the games where they had turnovers like that or high turnovers, they didn't pull those games out. So that's the high road. But immediately after the question was asked, he said something that I don't think a lot of people caught. He said that, of course, Draymond, that's how he plays. And he said that we tried to match that aggression or match that physicality, but they didn't get the benefit of the doubt when they try to do it. So basically what he's saying is they allow one-way aggression on Boston Celtics in that game. And when Boston tried to not even retaliate, but tried to match it, like he said, they got hit for it. They would get the foul calls for it. So what that really does is that tells one team you can't cross the line, or we're going to call you for it. So that makes that team kind of play a little bit softer. But then the other team, you allow the aggression, so they actually play as hard as they want to without a whistle, right? So you create a one-way aggression, and you can kind of withstand it as long as possible, but eventually it's gonna, the levees are gonna break, and that's what happened in the third quarter. Boston came out and they was hitting shots, but right away they got penalized for the physicality that they tried to play with, and their stars getting 2 fouls, Tatum getting 2 fouls, Brown getting 2 fouls. I think even in the second quarter, Marcus Smart got his 3rd foul, got his 4th early in the 3rd. So their important players was getting hit with the fouls when they tried to get physical, but nobody on the Warriors side even had more than 2 fouls until after the game was over. And I think Draymond finally picked up his third foul when the game was already out of reach. Don't know why they did it that way, but I seen it a lot throughout the playoffs. I actually seen it go in favor of Boston in the first round when they played Brooklyn. This is something I witnessed and observed. It's like, man, they're allowing one way aggression. So, and I think what Brooklyn did is say, we go get really, really dirty with them then. So they just started really playing really rough, I think in maybe game one, and the game just got out of control and the referees had to reel it back in the third quarter. Like it got like the fouls that they were like both teams was really beating each other up, and the refs had to gain control of the game again. But then in the fourth quarter, by that time, Brooklyn had got the message that we can't play that way, but Boston still played that way, and then that's what ultimately gave them. But even they barely won that game by a buzzer beater. So it can be done. I just think reffing it that way just advantages one team, disadvantages the other team, and sometimes that can get a certain outcome, or sometimes they just get a close game. Whatever the case may be, but. I don't expect it to happen like that in game 3. However, I still do think if I'm betting for Golden State, right? I think they're going to split the games just in Boston, just like they did in Golden State. Each team would get one. I'm thinking that the Warriors will get this first one, and Boston to get the second one in Boston, and they'll go back to Golden State tied at 2. That's what I'm predicting. What's up, Mo? And we'll see how it happens, man. But what Boston needs to do for sure, like Jason Tatum just said, they have to match the aggression that the Warriors came out with, mainly Draymond Green. And I think the best bet for them is to, because if the referees are going to allow that type of physicality, and they're going to allow Draymond Green to, really get up in people's face. I mean, at one point he got on the sidelines and was screaming at Udoka, who was the coach of the Celtics, like crazy with no repercussions for it, right? So either Udoka's going to have to go to his team in the locker room and say they punked you, like he did in the first game during the timeout. He said they're trying to punk y'all out here. He's going to have to send that message again and say, look, man, y'all getting punked. What y'all gonna do about it, right? So they're going to have to come out and either just play really physical, or they're going to have to chirp and talk just as much as Draymond Green is. And I mean, I really do think this game could be a pivot point for both teams. If Boston comes out and really beats Golden State at their own game, what Draymond Green tried to provide for his team last game, as far as the mentality and setting the mode and setting them up for the rest of the series virtually, that somebody's going to have to come do that same thing for Boston. I don't know who that person is. If I was to put money on it, I think it'd be Al Horford. I think Al Horford will come out and do something really to get the crowd going. He might slam somebody. I don't know. I mean, he's a big guy, and I think he feels bad about game 2 because it kind of seemed like he got punked as well, and he got figured out. I mean, he hit 6 threes in the first game. He didn't even get a 3-point shot up in the second game. So those are the type of things I'm gonna be looking for. I'm gonna be looking right at Grant Williams and Al Horford to see how they respond. And where's Robert Williams? I know he's a young guy, but he's one of their big guys, and he's one of their enforcers down low. I mean, he needs to put somebody on the ground. Like get rough with Steph Curry. I mean, he's playing the cleanest basketball of anybody on the court. Like nobody shot to rough him up or muck him up. He's playing clean. He's coming off screens clean. Nobody's getting dirty. He come down low for layups whenever he want to. Like he's not even had a hard foul yet. Somebody's going to have to make him, like Golden State said, we wanted them to feel us this game. Somebody's going to have to make Steph Curry feel them the whole 4 quarters. He can't just be out there just shooting warm up threes, and that's what he does. Like, if your best attribute is shooting these threes, then that's what I got to take away from you. I got to make you pay for trying to get these threes. Yeah. Then it said you have to play physical against the undersized Golden State. You got to. There's no way Draymond can come out here and be the only guy who has that type of attitude. Well, I'm gonna be a bully on the court. You got one bully on the court that's gonna affect the whole squad. It shouldn't happen. You mean to tell me Boston ain't got not one bully that can match that? Right. So that's what I expect to see. But so that does two things. Either you're gonna, and I don't expect for Boston to come back with that type of aggression and the Warriors don't match it, right? What I expect is the Warriors is going to match it, and they're going to raise. I'm going to raise you one, and Boston need to match that and then raise another one, right? And what that's going to do, which didn't happen last game, is the referees are going to have to make a decision to say we need to get control over this game before it turns into malice in the palace. So somebody from Boston has to be willing to take it all the way to fisticuffs, just to show the referees, look, if you're going to have him come out here, foul people and have his legs laying on their head, push everybody that tries to defend them and do all this stuff and curse out the opposing coach and fuss out players and scream on referees, and you're going to let him just walk around here like a junkyard dog with no chain, right? And you think that's part of the entertainment? Okay, I'm going to show you how you need to force him to play basketball just like we're playing basketball. Like, you got everybody out here playing ball, and you got this one guy out here that's just running around playing a different sport, and you're allowing it because it plays into the entertainment that you want to provide. All right, well, I got something for you. I'm gonna turn this into something more than a basketball game. Since you allowed that one guy to do it, we all gonna do it, right? And I would put all that aggression that Draymond Green had, I would put it on Steph Curry. I would put all of it on Steph Curry. I would do what Seattle Supersonics did when they was playing the Bulls in the finals. Rodman tried to come out here and do the Draymond Green thing and push up and bully people like Sean Kemp and all that stuff. And George Carr started this guy named Brikowski, who rarely got in the game. Like, he didn't play all playoffs. He was just a big power forward, big 6'9" power forward, big country guy. Brikowski. He started in like game 2 or 3. And everybody was like, what the heck is Brikowski doing in the starting lineup? He was he was there to aggravate Dennis Rodman and spend all 6 of his fouls. If somebody tell you, hey, look, we're gonna start you in the finals, go ahead and get buy the tickets and send it to your family. You playing, but you only playing 8 minutes, and in those 8 minutes, I want you to get rid of all 6 of your fouls, and all of them better be hard. I would 100% do that. I would start somebody that is expendable, and their only job is to spend 6 fouls on Steph Curry. And that's gonna force the referees to do their job a little better than they did in game 2. Like, I'm telling you, you have to play so many mind games on top of the basketball you got to play, man. You got to play so many mind games. So, hey, Dennis, who you think that guy should be for Boston? It can't be Pritchard. You're gonna use him. It can't be Marcus Smart, even though Marcus Smart got to spend some of his fouls too. I think they're gonna have to use their fouls, and be on time with it like a spades hand. When you're playing spades and you got a good hand, you got to bid it right, and you got to make all your books on time. You don't want to get an extra book. You don't want to bag, and you don't want to underbid as well. So so underbidding in this matchup would be for you to end this game and only have 3 fouls. Well, you had 3 other fouls. Why you didn't use them? Right. So you're gonna have to use them like a spades hand. Of course, you can't foul out. That's getting a bag. but I need you to have 5 fouls by the end of the game. I need everyone to have 5 fouls. We go spend them. We're gonna keep fouling, and just like Draymond Green got one tech, and he knew that they wouldn't go throw him out of the game for that second tech, so he had free reigns to say and do whatever he wanted to. Do your fouls like that as well. We go whoop tail. All right, we'll manage the fouls early in the first and second quarter, but by the time that third and fourth come, we spending them fouls. You know, by the time the fourth quarter start, I want most of, I want a lot of people to have about 4 fouls, and you're gonna spend that fifth one early, and then we know that they're not gonna foul you out, and if they do, then we know it's an agenda. That's exactly what I would do. Fouls, techs. I'm maximizing everything. Fouls, techs, and my expendable players. I'm giving them between 6 and 8 minutes where they can spend all 6 of their fouls on Steph Curry. Specifically on Steph Curry, you need those players like Draymond, Pat Bev, etc. Yeah. And you laughing? Sign me up. Yeah, you laughing? Robert Williams, because he only averaged 8 minutes anyways. Yeah, so 8 minutes. That sound like a foul a minute to me. You know what I mean? You don't get them too early. Your first 2 minutes, you good. Or maybe you send a message early, you get one early, and then you hold off for a little while. But by the time you get to that 6th and 7th minute, I want you to have 5 fouls. I want you tearing them up, man. Now, as far as the Warriors, they just got to keep doing what they was doing. Steph is still riding high. Maybe expect a different a different defense on Steph Curry on those high screens, and be ready for that. And I think Clay is going to have to eventually wake up in this series. What's up, Dino?
Yeah, what's up, man?
I'm good, man.
It's good, man. How's everything, bro?
I'm good, man. You like my my strategy?
Absolutely, because I think I mentioned this to Chris not too long ago. I was saying every team needs a Ron Artest, a Rasheed Wallace, PJ Tucker, Pat Bev. You need these players. And if you remember last series, Miami Heat in Boston, I was actually calling for Marcus Morris to get a lot more minutes.
Right.
Because he's that type of player. All of that Robert Williams is bringing in, Al Horford protecting the paint. Okay, we got something to bring y'all out that paint. Somebody who plays I'm not going to say dirty, because physical sometimes comes off as dirty.
Yeah.
But people play physical, and a lot of players don't like that. You see them start complaining in the post-game interviews. I think it was a dirty play.
Yeah.
This, that. No, it's just competitiveness.
I agree, man. And so you don't think Boston got a player like that? I mean, it should be Grant Williams.
They don't use him as such. Grant Williams is the perfect person to do that, but he gets too much minutes and he's too valuable.
Right.
So therefore, the person that you're not giving the minutes to, which is Robert Williams, whether it be for injury or whatever, he's still physical. Let him come in, make that hard foul on Draymond. Yeah. Get under his skin, get another hard foul against Steph.
Yeah.
Get under his skin, get another one against Clay.
Yeah. I mean, you don't even need to spread them out like that. All of them need to go on Steph. Everybody in the starting 5 and the 3 players that they're playing off the bench. So out of 8 people, they all need to foul Steph very hard at least twice. Right. And the fouls ain't rollover fouls. This ain't sprint or next tail. They ain't rollover minutes. Like it ain't like if I save the fouls for tonight, then I can use them for game 4. Right. So I mean, there's no way you should be in a physical game and end it with 2 or 3 fouls. Like, you need to be in the 4 to 5 range.
I agree.
The rest of this series, they all need to be in the 4 and 5 range. That tells me that they're playing some defense. But the fact that Golden State Warriors was the aggressor in game 2 and nobody on their team had more than 2 fouls, that tells me a lot.
You see it with Boston. Boston really, they come out one way, right? And if it's working, they'll stick to it. But if it's not working, then they match energy. And I feel like you should always be coming out with a game plan, of course, but be ready to match physicality as well.
Right.
You can't get punched in the mouth for 2 quarters and then think, all right, halftime, we're going to come punch them in the mouth. Sometimes it's not wise to take those punches, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So we're going to, it's interesting to see. You're right about that. I never would have expected Golden State to be more physical and more successful in doing such against Boston.
They was desperate.
Like,
they ain't had no choice. They lost their first game at home. They ain't had no choice. They was like, we got to do whatever we got to do. You know what I mean? It was desperation, and Boston didn't have the same desperation. Don't look like, you know. So they got to match their energy. They got to match it.
Right.
Yep.
So do you think? Well, we've seen how the officiating for Boston has gone when they're in Boston. You think that's going to be a problem for Golden State?
Man, you already know my thoughts on that goes beyond basketball. Man. So, I don't even know why you trying to set me up, man. Look, bro. Look, all I can say is the NBA is trying to provide an entertaining series, right? And in their book, entertaining, I guess means that it's competitive. And I think competitive means that each team is winning games, right? So like, just think about it. There used to be a time when the better team just outplayed teams. Now they both came out and played with heart, and they got some games, but most of the time the better team prevails, right? The way we're seeing it now, it's kind of hard to tell who the better team is, because one game, one team just looks like they don't even belong in the playoffs and get blowed out by another squad. And then the next game is just the total opposite. And you can kind of attribute, like, some people might attribute that to that, you know, the league is more talented now and you got more talented players. I don't think it's that, because the only thing that changes for me when I watch these games and I see a team get beat by 30 and then they come back and beat the team by 30 the next game, the only thing I see that's different is the officiating.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, you allow one thing one game, and in the next game, you favor that same whistle for the opposite squad. So
you know, I think honestly speaking though, I think Boston is the better team. For one reason and one reason only. They're both high-scoring teams, but Boston's defense is just, man, like you said, they're tall. You know, they could spread the floor so nicely. They just are built better. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the chemistry of Golden State, it's just beautiful to watch.
It is.
You did say something though, with officiating. Like, there's been no big difference in styles of play when we've seen the shifts happen, but there has been a big difference in free throw attempts and stuff like that.
Not even the free throw attempts. I don't even look at free throw attempts no more. They way too sophisticated for that. It's just the way they call the game, and it's more about the ones they don't call versus the ones they do. So the advantage that Boston has over Golden State is that their wing defenders are really good defenders. Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, all three of them are good wing defenders, right? And all three of them can keep Steph or whoever else they want out of the paint. You know, now they trying to run them. They try not to give them threes, so they're running at them real hard to run them off the 3-point lines, which gives them driving lanes most times. But when it comes to them trying to just get by somebody, those are really good three defenders, especially if you allow them to play defense. The difference in this series is they're not allowing Boston to put their hands on and be really physical in game 2. They did in game 1, but in game 2 they didn't allow them to get really handsy and physical with Steph off the dribble.
Right.
The whole series against Brooklyn they did. And that's why they look so dominant guarding who after game 1, Kyrie was shut down. Right? They couldn't get past them boys.
Right.
Kevin Durant was shut down. If they allowed them to guard them the way they guarded Kyrie and Kevin Durant, it'd be a different story. But they're not allowing them to do it.
Even in that game 1 win, it didn't look like they was allowing it.
Not well. They wasn't. So Dallas, Boston was playing honest in the first quarter, and then after they came out of the in the second quarter and Steph sat down, that's when they went on their little run, and then that's when their defense kind of picked up, and that's when they started getting real handsy on Steph in the second half. You seen Steph kind of give him a little something in the third quarter, but after that, after the Boston took that lead in the fourth, Steph couldn't even get a shot off. They was in his hip pocket, right? And they was really up in them, and they allowed it in the fourth quarter. That's the only quarter I've seen them allow that much physicality on Steph when he had the ball or when he didn't have the ball. So I think they know what's going on. They know what's going on. That's for sure.
You know who made a huge difference for Golden State as well?
Who?
I have a good one now. GP.
Oh,
the first game he was back, he only played 2 minutes, but this game he actually got more minutes, and man, you could see how disgruntled Jason Tatum was when he picked him up. Like,
yeah, I gotta give GP to his credit, man. He came in, I was watching him, and he was able to keep Tatum and Brown in front of him very well. Only time I seen Tatum really get the best of him was when he took him in the post and got a little Kobe mid-range fadeaway on him.
But,
off the dribble.
That was late in the game by that point.
Yeah, off the dribble. Gary Payton stand in front of anybody. He playing phenomenal, man. He playing phenomenal.
Look who his father is, Exactly. Only difference is he's a little bit more athletic. I'm not even gonna say a little bit, like, because he's a lot more athletic than his father.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. GP was GP was in the dunk contest his rookie year, man. He was,
but come on now. He wasn't doing what his son is doing.
Nah, he ain't on that level though. He ain't
but it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be very interesting. I like to see what coaches have to do or have to say rather.
Yeah.
I want to see what kind of adjustments they make. I would like to see less pick and rolls for Boston.
Yeah.
On ball, I should say on ball, because when you have somebody like Jason Tatum, yeah, it's fine if you want to ISO, but you have somebody as like just as lethal as him and Jaylen Brown. Then you have a phenomenal shooter, who's turning into a phenomenal shooter, Marcus Smart. You have shooters around you. So when you play the ISO game like that, I just don't like everybody standing around. Go set some back doors or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that ain't their offense though. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be hard for them to implement that now. They got to go with what they got. So I think what they can do better with what they've been doing is one, they just got the defense. The defense got to be what sets them up on offense, man. They got to get on the break. They got to get stops, and they got to find a way to shut Steph down. So that's going to start with how physical they're going to get. And if I was the coach, I would tell them, look, don't worry about fouling out, man. Because we can't win without being physical. We just can't. So if they're not going to let us get physical, then we're just going to do it anyway and dare them to foul us out. So you got to tiptoe that line like that. Just play physical. Knock Steph down, do what you got to do, and disrupt that. That way you don't have to worry about scoring so many points. Just really fortify that defense, and when you get those mismatches, because they're on the floor, you just gotta take it. You gotta take advantage of them, man. I seen Steph behind Al Horford in the post stop Al Horford from getting a shot off, and then I seen Clay do it as well, and that was kind of like what changed their game plans. Horford hit so many threes because those big guys couldn't, like Looney, couldn't rotate over there. So what they did is they just put Klay Thompson on them and said, "I dare you to go in the post."
And that's exactly what should have happened.
Yeah, but like I said, every time he went in the post, he couldn't even get a good shot off, man. I mean, it was like they was just punching his back. They weren't look, they was holding him and reach. It was bad. It was assault. When Al Horford got in the post, they assaulted him, and the referee just stood there, just took their whistle out and was like, "Hey, man, we ain't calling nothing, man." You know what I mean? So I think that was part of why Udoka just took them out in the fourth quarter. He was like, "Look, man, I think he was thinking, it ain't nothing we can do to win this game. We were supposed to lose this one. I can tell how they calling the game. They set out for this series being 1-1 going back to
turnovers killed them too, man. I think they had like 14 in the first half turnovers. I'm like, oh my god,
yeah,
just you're rushing your offense.
Yeah,
you're rushing it.
Yeah, doing a lot of stupid passes too, man. It was just dumb.
Marcus Smart, man.
Yeah,
and I'm not even. This isn't even anything new for Marcus Smart. Like, just chill, man. Slow down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, just slow down. Stop picking your dribble up so early in the possession as well. If you get to the cup and there's no shot, keep dribbling. Keep the dribble alive. As soon as you pick up, they blitz you. You try and kick out to one or two people, Jalen or Jason, and they're reading that.
Yeah.
So just slow down. Stop picking your dribble up so early in the possession. Make better. Because we've seen him do it. We've seen him have 12 assists, no turnover. Like, you're capable.
Yeah.
You have to be that on a consistent basis in the finals. You have to.
Yeah, for sure. And they driving to the basket trying to get layups, but when the defense is there, they're not taking the shot. If you get in the paint, take the shot, man. Just take it. But I think they get down there.
Just go up. Absolutely.
Yeah, they get down there, and I think in their head, they're like, the last two times I came down here, I got fouled, and I threw up a bad shot, and they didn't call a foul. So I think in their mind, they're saying, I'm not going to go up. But like they want wide open shots because that's the only way they can shoot without getting fouled. That makes sense. So when they drive,
it does.
When they drive, if the defender is there and they go up and he reaches and hit their arm and they throw up a bad shot and there's no call, like they'd rather say, all right, man, let me drive and I kick it out to a shooter. Hopefully they get an open three, or hopefully I get an open layup.
This kind of separates good players from great players too. I've seen Kobe do it. I've seen D Wade. I've seen shades of LeBron do it. I've seen Jordan. I've seen a lot of greats. When they get fouled, they don't look at the refs and just stop playing. No, they still get to their spots. You know what I'm saying? They still putting up the same shots regardless of contact. I'm still gonna get to my spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what separates good players. They're gonna cry. I see Jason Tatum do it a lot.
Yeah,
he's gonna cry. He's gonna look for the whistle. Nah, man, you gotta keep playing because when the opposite team sees that, that's blood to a piranha.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You can't do that. They're gonna feed off of that. They're gonna keep playing physical, and every time you don't get a call, they're gonna get more physical. Like,
yeah.
So you gotta continuously get to your spots. Don't be affected by the physical play. Embrace it. You got to take that on. These are what the moments are built for, bro.
You're right. We'll see what happens, man. I think they'll come out a little bit more aggressive on both ends, and I think Warriors will match it. This might be a good close one, but I'm picking the Warriors for this one. But if the Warriors
it's in Boston, right?
Yeah, it's in Boston tonight. Yeah. No,
okay,
tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. It's tomorrow.
Yeah, Wednesday night.
Oh, all right. Cool.
All right, bro. Let me get this Darvin Ham hiring, man. I'm gonna talk about the Lakers real quick.
Oh yeah, do your thing. If you want to drop the link, I'll jump in with you, man.
Oh, okay. I'll drop it in.
I bet. That's a bet, man.
Yep.
All right.
Let me drop this link in here. I'll let anybody join that want to join. I'll put it in the comment section. Or you can call in. Well, I put a call in number up there. But let's get into this Darvin Ham hiring. The Lakers, finally found their coach, man. They bring in Darvin Ham, who was an assistant over there at Milwaukee. You know what? I don't know what to think about this hiring, man. Like, I don't know enough about his philosophy of his coaching style, all of that stuff, man. But everybody seemed to be excited about it in LA, and then most of the Laker fans seemed to be excited about it. He had his press conference, yesterday or day before yesterday. A couple of things he said, and then I'm gonna play one soundbite about what Darvin Ham said, and then I respond to it after the fact.
Well, it's how can they compete together? You know what I'm saying? Like, it starts on the defensive end, and from there we're going to build back toward the offense. I think the type of spacing, a four out one in style, which I'm going to implement, is going to help all parties. My goal is, again, continue with the development of our younger players and to make those guys comfortable where they're not having to run to a telephone booth and throw a cape on and try to save the day. Everything has to be a team effort. Again, competitive, together, and accountable. And if there's mistakes made, I have to be able to coach those three guys like I do the rest of the roster. It can't be, we have a saying, it's like facts over feelings. And, once you see the film and it's a fact that you missed your assignment, then that has to be pointed out. Because if I can't point that out to one of our big three, then the last man or somebody in the rotation, they're not going to take what we're doing seriously. So,
hold on. He said like 4 things in that it was real important, but let me play this back the beginning again real quick.
Well, it's how can they compete together? You know what I'm saying? Like, it starts on the defensive end, and from there we're going to build back toward the offense. I think the type of spacing, a four out one in style, which I'm going to
four out one in. Okay. All right. First, he's saying the right things. Let's talk about the things he's saying that I like. It starts on the defensive end, and I think that's very important because I think that's what they got away from. If you go back to 2020 when they won the championship in the bubble, what I kept hearing them preach all the time was defense, defense, defense. When they interviewed LeBron, Anthony Davis, LeBron always talked about how he wanted to challenge LeBron on the defensive end and all that stuff. And you can see it on the court. And the players they brought in, they had Rondo, who knows what championship defense is about. They had Caldwell Pope, who was a good defender. They had Caruso, who was a good defender. They had Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee coming off the bench, who were great rebounders, shot blockers, and good defenders. Like, you could tell there was putting a big emphasis on defense, right? Now, after that championship, they got rid of McGee. They got rid of Dwight. They brought in Montrezl Harrell and Marc Gasol, and neither one of those guys provide the same type of shot blocking that Dwight and McGee provide. They also got rid of Rondo, right? So they got rid of Danny Green, right? So these guys who were really defensive minded, and I think they was getting rid of them thinking, hey man, they washed they old, we want to get a little bit younger, which made no sense because they brought in Marc Gasol. But I think that was the fact because they wanted a 7-footer and they just got rid of 2 of them, right? But they was really trying to get younger. They got rid of Rondo, Danny Green, and they came back with I think what's my man from Milwaukee that shoot the 3 and do that? Man.
From Milwaukee?
Yeah. They got his start in Utah, 3-point shooter. Play a little bit of defense. Wes Matthews.
Wesley.
Matthews. Yeah, they brought on all these guys, man. And I'm like, okay, you getting younger, but your veteran leadership. Oh, they brought in Dennis Schroeder as well. I was like, you getting younger, but none of these guys defend. None of these guys have won.
Nah, they got rid of Dennis Schroeder because he wanted all that money.
No, I'm talking about the year after 2020 when they won it. When they won it with Rondo, Danny Green.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They won it with all these great guys. And after that, they brought in all these younger offensive-minded guys thinking that was going to be better for them.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. Of course, they didn't even make barely made the playoffs, got put out by Phoenix in the first round. And then they come back and was like, well, maybe we need to go back on the defensive side of the ball. And they tried to bring Dwight back. DJ, they even bought Rondo back. They was like, oh, let's backtrack, let's get these defenders back. You know what I mean? So look, they tried to get, hey, let's get the gang back together, man. And so you was like, all right, man, now they want to play a little bit better defense again. And it still didn't work, right? Because they bought in Westbrook, and it was, I mean, come on, man, like you paying him $44 million. You know, he's a superstar in his mind, so you know he wants the minutes. You're gonna have to play this guy, and he's not gonna provide anything on the defensive end. So I say all that to say this: Darvin Ham is saying the right things, man. I want to concentrate on the defensive end. So now I don't think Anthony Davis has a problem with being a defender because that's what he mostly is. He's a shot blocker, and he's mobile enough to guard screens and switch and do things of that nature, right? So he's a defensive minded guy. Mm-hmm. LeBron is when he wants to be, but he'll be 38 next year. I don't think he want to play defense for 4 straight quarters and 24 seconds out of every shot clock. He don't want to do that. So, and, you know, what LeBron wants to do is, you know, score as much as he want to and, you know, do his thing, but he want the other 4 guys to be the foundation of the defense, and he be able to sit back like a safety that never gets anything thrown on his side. You get what I'm saying? Like that's what LeBron want to do. He just want to sit back there and, you know, block some shots every now and then, whatever. You know what I mean? So he's not. And then Westbrook's never been a defensive minded guy, like never, right? So, but Darvin Ham thinks that he can come in here and make this a defensive squad. So now he got to bring in a staff. It's been talks of Rasheed Wallace coming in. I think that'd be good because he's a defensive minded guy, and he's also a guy that can, you know, be like a dog whisperer to Anthony Davis and say, look, man, you need to get back in that post a little bit. Let's work on this. You know what I mean? So that might be a good guy for Anthony Davis. So they moving in the right direction. We'll see what they do as far as free agency and, you know, everything that happens, what type of roster they gonna have next year. But the main important thing is Westbrook.
What do you think?
How you go get this man to one play lockdown defense at this stage of his career, and how do you get him to realize that his offense? And I know all last year we kept hearing LeBron say we need Russ to be Russ. No, we don't. We need Russ to be Rondo. We need you to come out here and realize that you have, no, I'm serious. You need to realize that you had Anthony Davis on your squad who is a bucket. You had Carmelo Anthony on your squad who's a bucket. And then you had freaking LeBron James on your squad. Your only job was to play lockdown defense and figure out a way to get them easy baskets. And sometimes that means just giving them the rock and letting them do their thing. Like, you know, we don't need you to come down and run high screen and roll and run full speed at the rim trying to find your own little layup shot. We don't need that. Be Rondo.
He has no pace control.
No, he don't. He has to study Rondo and be Rondo, and I think he can do that. Don't worry about your shot. Be Ben Simmons. Don't worry about your shot.
I mean,
you get what I'm saying?
I mean, I like that analogy with Rondo though, because if you look in Boston, Rondo only scored when need be.
when needed.
And they were leaving him open like ridiculous. They was giving him 5 feet. You know what I mean?
And he was like, I'm not gonna force this jump shot unless I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like every now and then he'll take it with it. You know, Phil Jackson actually in the championship game, they wouldn't even guard him at the 3-point line. And what he did was just dribble all the way to the free throw line. Since you ain't gonna guard me, that space you giving me, I just take all that space up and get to the elbow jump shot. And sometimes they take it, sometimes he wouldn't. You know what I mean? But just because they daring you to take it don't mean you got to take it. Right. And the job of the point guard is to feel the flow of the game and know, all right, we losing momentum. I need to use this is one opportunity where I go get my own shot right now. Go get a layup. Bam. You know, maybe I need to go get 2 layups in a row. Maybe I need to speed up the pace. Maybe I need to lock up better on defense to get a steal to get us on the break. You know, those are the type of things point guards are thinking. But Westbrook, in his mind, think he scores the ball just as well as KD, Dame Lillard or Steph. Like he think that he scores that well, and he can just shut crowds up and stop runs with his scoring like that. Now he not like that, and I don't, and he never realized it. And let me play another soundbite from Darvin Ham why I think the mistake is going to come in there. This is him when they ask him about Russ.
Absolutely. I mean, just our running habits. And Russell, don't get it messed up. Russ is one of the best players our league has ever seen, and there's still a ton left in that tank. I don't know why people tend to try to write him off. I'm gonna approach him like I do every player I've ever encountered. We're gonna talk about our running habits with the ball, without the ball, and again, the team, the rhythm of the team, and trying to establish a rhythm with LeBron, Russ, AD, and again, share the load defensively and offensively. Defensively is where you're going to see us make our biggest leaps and bounds. We have to commit to the defensive side of the ball, or we don't have a chance to do anything. The offense won't even matter if we don't get stops.
What you think?
I love that. You know what I mean? I'm a defensive-minded guy anyway. I love defense, but especially in the West Coast, you can score 130 and still lose by 15 in the West. So I agree with everything he said.
Except the fact when he said Russ is one of the greatest players we ever seen. No, he's really not.
I mean, it's doing what a coach is gonna do. Bring
but that's what coaches have always told Russ, and that's why he think he is something that he's not. Like people got to stop saying, they're not keeping it real with him. They're not keeping it real. Let Russ be Russ. We need Russ to be Russ. Russ is one of the greatest point guards we ever. You got to stop saying that, man. Russ is a above average player because of his elite athleticism. Like if your elite athleticism take you to above average and not elite, then that means you're lacking in a lot of other areas. Because what have
I like
you
that.
get what I'm saying? Like elite athleticism from Michael Jordan got paired with elite basketball skill and elite basketball IQ, which made him an elite player. Russell is not an elite player; he's an elite athlete, which took him to being an all-star and an above-average player. But we got to stop lying to Russ and telling him he's all that and he got all this left in the tank. Nah, he ain't got that much left in the tank. Humble him. Tell him I need you playing elite defense if you can. And if you can't, we're probably not going to play you too many minutes. If they tell him that, then you're getting closer to your goal than you are if you just daggone be passive aggressive with him and say all this stuff in the media about him. Like he's starting out good by saying defense, but at the same time, it doesn't seem like he's going to address the issue. If you got to sugarcoat things in the media, I mean, and I get it. You don't want to go Doc Rivers and say I don't think we can win a championship with this point guard like they did with Ben Simmons. You don't want to do that. But when they ask you questions about Russ, I mean, you stop complimenting him. Just say you're gonna coach, and this is the way I want to coach,
right?
And and the players that is gonna be better suited for that will play. You say something along that lines, man. Not oh man, Russ, man, don't get it twisted, man. Russ is the greatest talent we've seen. Come on, man.
I mean, man, it's one of those things where, like, I mean, he is top 3 on his team as of now, and it's all of it. Once he develops the pace control, I think the decision making, the IQ, I think that'll just fall in place for him, especially with LeBron on the court. Like
if you ain't got it by now, Dano, you ain't gonna have it.
Who? You don't think he's gonna have it?
Like how does a tiger change his stripes?
Well, for him, what it would look like for him: 1, pace control; 2, develop a mid range. You don't even need the 3. Develop the mid range shot because people are gonna respect that first step. So if you could just get inside the 3-point line to that little elbow shot you like, that's all we need. That's all we need. Because
Yeah,
now
he
you have
need.
AD crashing boards. You have LeBron, who likes the cut off of penetration. You know what I mean? You still have people around you that can make that easy for you. Just
Yeah,
develop a mid range, a consistent mid range, I should say.
he need to study Rondo or study Gary Payton when he was with the Lakers, and that's the model for his game. The guy who I'm not looking for my shot, right? If a team go on a 6-0 run and I'm on the floor as the point guard, my first thought should be, how can I get one of these real scorers a shot? Right? What play do I need to call? Do I need to call a down screen for Carmelo to get him an easy open jump shot? I don't want to see Russ try to end a 6-0 run by coming down and pulling up a 30-foot three like Steph Curry, or trying to post up mid post and get it and turn like he Melo and then shoot a backboard shot that just hit backboard. Like we don't need that. He needs to study J Kidd when he was with Dallas. He needs to study Gary Payton when he was with LA, and Rondo when he was with Boston.
Let's take a look back at Russell's best season, right? That OKC team. You had Melo, you had Paul George, and who was your big? I think Steve. You still had Steve, right? So
yeah.
What made because that wasn't a bad year for him. That it wasn't. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't a bad year. It wasn't his best. His best year was his MVP season, though.
Arguably, I mean, well, yeah. Honestly, yeah, it was. But okay, look at that year. What made that year so successful for Russ? What was it? Was it the fact that he was shooting more? Was it what was it? Was it his supporting cast?
It was the fact that he was running the Luka Doncic, James Harden, LeBron James system where it's 4 men out or sometimes 5 men out of the paint, high screen and roll, and I'm running full speed at the rim. I'm either gonna get a dunk layup or I'm gonna pass it to a shooter for a three. And that was their whole offense. And everyone who runs that offense always going to have a crazy amount of stats and points, rebounds, and assists. Always, because that play style also gives them a free pass to lollygag on defense, because I can always say, and you listen to LeBron fans all the time say, man, he's doing everything on offense. Why does he need to lock down on defense too? So they give him a pass to not take the most challenging option on defense. So you end up being on the lesser player on defense off the ball. So the person who's guarding Dame Lillard and forcing him to take bad shots, they're never going to be the one in position to get a rebound. But the person that's always in the corner on some player that can't get his own shot, just standing there, you're going to be in position to get those long rebounds. So the guys who play that style of offense that Westbrook played his MVP season, always going to have points, assists, and rebounds. Always. Okay. But you said it was successful for Russ. That was the key word. That year was successful for Russ. It wasn't successful for OKC. OKC had their most success when CP3 came the next season after Russ left. So Russ with Paul George and Carmelo won less and went and didn't go further in the playoffs than CP3 with just Steven Adams.
Okay. Yeah.
Let that sink in. Well, he had Shea Gilgeous-Alexander too, I think. Yeah, so he had Shea, Steve Adams, CP3, and they won more games and went further in the playoffs than OKC with Melo, Paul George, and Westbrook and Steven Adams. Let that sink in.
And Paul George was having good seasons both years. Like
Paul George was in the MVP discussion that year.
Yeah, absolutely. And he should have got it
third or fourth. Because he was in the defensive player of the year discussion that year too.
Exactly. Like you're performing well on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Man, that's hard to
Yeah.
do. That's very tough to do.
So yeah, he's saying the right things, man. Darvingham is, but he still got that rust problem. And one thing he said I didn't like is that he's implementing the 4-out, 1-in offense, which I guess that's kind of what they did in Milwaukee with Giannis. But I hate that offense, man. I hate it. I literally hate it unless you got Giannis. So I guess they're telling that the only person who can run that offense and make it look good is LeBron, but not 38-year-old LeBron. You get what I'm saying? So and then even if LeBron is running it, then what is Russ doing? Because he can't be your Drew Holiday, because Drew Holiday's thing is I'm gonna lock up one of the best wing players on the floor. And then when Giannis got the ball, I'm gonna be a catch and shoot threat. And then when Giannis don't have the ball, I can be a threat with the ball as well. Russ is not that. He's not that. So if Russ is not playing point guard and being Rondo, then what is he doing? He's gonna be doing the same thing he was doing this year, playing a position that he's not good at off the ball.
So we definitely have to see some changes from Russ.
And I don't think 4-out, 1-in offense is the way to go for the Lakers. That's my opinion.
Now, how about if they, LeBron's getting older. How about if he takes a back seat with not being ball dominant?
It still go. I think that's what he should do, but it's still going to be. Your success is going to be contingent on what offense you run. 4-out, 1-in ain't the offense you should be running. Like in this days the NBA, that's how everything is going. You see Luka is doing it, right? You see James Harden did it for so many years. But when you look at the teams that are winning championships, they're not playing that, except for Milwaukee. But it's always an exception to every rule.
I couldn't even say Milwaukee because that last year they were just playing great team ball.
Yeah.
Brooke was a huge part of a huge reason in their success.
Yeah.
As well as Bobby Porter, Chris Middleton, Drew. So it still validates your point. It takes a team effort. That one man team, that's not gonna get it done.
No, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of saying that. As a matter of fact, I think people gonna stop watching the NBA if the trend keep going the way it's going. Like nobody wants to see one guy dominate the ball for 4 quarters and force all his teammates to be catch and shoot 3-point shooter. Nobody. I don't want to see Luka's offense on another squad, and I don't even want to see Luka running no more. But hey, let's move, man. Let's go to football, man. Aaron Donald, his extension. Did you see what they paid him?
What is it, 85 mil?
I think it's 95.
95?
95, yeah. So I think he already had his contract. Yeah, his contract was already what it was. They gave him $40 million extension. So which took it to 95 mil in total. And the Rams, I know they Super Bowl champs, but they spending some money.
You gotta think though, the Rams, they've never built a team during the off season to contend. They always bring in small free agency pieces here and there. That's how they built the team last year.
Yeah,
so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do.
Well, I mean, he's the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, and he's well worth the money. He deserves it. However, I don't know what that does for your team as far as your salary cap, but they didn't have no choice but to give it to him. And the reason why is because the defense is all right. So Matt Stafford made that offense into something more than what it was with Jared Goff, right? So you good on the offense, but that defense goes so well with that offense, and the Rams start with that defense, and their defense start with Aaron Donald in the middle. And without Aaron Donald on that squad, it's a totally different team. I don't even think they're a contender anymore without Aaron Donald. That's how important he is. Which means if Aaron Donald retires and we don't give him the money he was asking for, and he retires, our defense turns to doo doo. That means our teams turn to doo doo. That means all these guys we're playing like Mike Stafford and all these guys we gave all this money to is a waste because we're not even gonna get back to the Super Bowl.
So he's the centerpiece. So you have him. Now they just went and got Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then you still then you got Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
So like there's no level of field that's safe from that team.
Well,
And
who
that
they got?
and like
Who they
said,
got on the ends though? They got Florida on one end. They lost Von Miller. Did they replace Von Miller?
Check it out though, Mel. It don't matter who you have when you have 3 offensive linemen, even the running back chipping, blocking one person. So now that means 2 people are getting one-on-ones. They're not that good where you can't get you can't get a one-on-one. You know what I mean?
So check it out. When the Rams had Ndamukong Suh side by side with Aaron Donald, was that the last year they went to the Super Bowl before this one?
Yeah.
Right. So it like as good as Donald is, you don't want him getting doubled and tripled that easy. You want to make them pay for doubling him.
That makes
and having Ndamukong Suh beside him means that dang, if we double Donald, then he go get loose, right? And then when Suh left, of course they're not making it to the Super Bowl no more. And then as soon as Von Miller comes back on the squad, they get back to the Super Bowl and win it. So you have to have a guy there that's going to make you pay for doubling Donald.
But this is where the free agency pickup with Bobby Wagner makes perfect sense. Bobby Wagner from my knowledge, what separated him from a lot of linebackers is his ability to cover. He was also making plays within the box, but his ability to actually just shut down that second level was good, good too. So if you don't get help on the line, you still have help at that second level and that third level with Jalen. So it's regardless of how you look at it, I think they're going to be good because that defense is just built for it. They're daring. They're not going to allow you to run, and they're daring you to throw.
So all right. So you don't. But still, the question is, who replaced Von Miller? I just want to know.
I'm not sure who they have on their edge.
Yeah, I mean because covering is great, but you can cover very well for about 5 or 6 seconds, and if you ain't at that quarterback, you need to be at that quarterback really quick, right? So I mean, you just because you good at stopping the run, don't mean I got to run. I ain't got to run.
Right.
If you can't get sacks. And you give them quarterbacks too much time, they're going to make a completion, especially the good teams, right? So it's going to be very important, especially with Tampa Bay. They might have to see Tampa Bay in the playoffs, right? So you got to get to Tom Brady.
You have to.
You got to get to him,
and quick amount of time too.
Yeah, you got to get to him. So doubling Donald coming up the middle and Von Miller and Floyd been on both ends. You got a heck of a night on your hand. It's a O lineman and an O coordinator.
Absolutely.
If somebody is not at the level of Von Miller over on the other side trying to help Donald, man, we'll block him by with a good lineman, one on one, and then we'll put 2 on Donald, and we'll get the time we need to complete a pass.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
That is true.
We'll see how it works out.
I was just looking at it like, man, these guys are set regardless just because of his impact alone.
Yeah, they good. And what you think about Odell Beckham probably leaving and they got Allen Robinson out there?
That's an amazing pickup. Allen Robinson is very underrated because of his circumstances with his quarterbacks. But Allen Robinson, a great pickup. You don't lose anything by getting rid of Odell and Robert Woods and bringing in Allen Robinson. He's gonna block on the run. His route running is amazing. He's kind of bigger, right? I think he's what,
Yeah.
6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, he played big. I
He
don't know
plays
how.
big.
Yeah, I don't know how tall he is, but he plays as big as Brandon Marshall. But I don't know if
Exactly.
he's yeah.
So
I don't know if I
man,
don't know if he's that big though.
imagine this, right? You got you got him going up top, and you got Cup coming underneath,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
and then you still have a decent running game in the Rams offense too. So it's tough to see, man. That is a tough team, regardless.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't
All
think
right,
they get back though. I'll say that. I don't think they get back.
Why not?
Honestly, man, I just don't see it. I see Philly having a great year. I see, of course, and as coming from a Panthers fan, I hate to say it because they in our division, but anytime Tom Brady's out there, they have a good chance. You know what I'm saying? Then you have the AFC teams like the Bengals, the Chargers, the Bills. Still got to throw Kansas City in there. You know what I mean? So it's I don't. But that's AFC side. NFC side, like I said, Tampa Bay. I see Philly having a solid year this year. Of course, I want to say the Panthers, but we got some quarterback identity issues, and that's our only issue right now. We built our line. We got some defense out there rolling. It's just quarterback. So I don't know, man. I don't see them. They'll get to the playoffs, but I don't see them getting back to the Super Bowl.
That's interesting, man. I gotta take a closer look at it. You know, I've been locked in on this NBA, so I gotta go back and check everything out and see how everybody doing at training camp. And I'm hearing Deebo Samuels is coming back to the 49ers, and he's gonna be at camp, and all these things. And then last topic, man. Before you get out of here, we'll get to the last topic. With speaking of training camp, Deshaun Watson, he's out there with the team and all that stuff, but there might be a suspension coming. There's a 24th civil suit filed against him and all that stuff, man. So this is the second lady that has come out with an accusation in the last couple of weeks. How you think that's gonna play out for the NFL and the Browns?
We've seen it before. He's getting the Vic treatment. It's just no dogs involved this time. It's women. He was great. You know what I mean? Like a great quarterback. It just we needed a way to derail him. The players talking, you know what I'm saying? The little animosity they had on the Houston when they're not getting along with management and whatever, that wasn't enough because the team still wanted Deshaun. The first couple of suits that he went through wasn't enough. Teams were still willing to pick him up while they were active.
Yeah.
He gets past those. What can we do to take away from seeing him on the field?
Who don't want him on the field though?
The league.
I don't think it's the league. So this is what I think it is. I don't think it's the league. I think I don't know what the first initial complaint was and who filed it, because most of these people who filed these complaints haven't made them their identity known. I think it may be one or two ladies that may have showed their face and their name, right? So all of these are anonymous complaints pretty much. I think what we got going on is a classic case of we go cash out on a millionaire's paycheck with and I'm not saying the accusations may or may not be true, because you gotta go to court to find it out, right? But so I'm not saying it's not true, but what I am saying is the way they're doing this, where it's lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, and they're all civil lawsuits. There's no criminal charges brought up against him, and there's no evidence to say he did anything against the law. None of that stuff. All it is an accusation, and a civil suit. And what these lawyers do when there's no evidence is they try to strengthen their case by having multiple complaints, right? So if you listen to anyone talk, right, even if they try, if they're not really trained to think the right way about these situations, it'll come out. They always say another one, and they slip up and say it's got to be. I mean, like it's got to be some where there's smoke, there's fire. So lawyers are smart. They know this. They know in public opinion, if I can bring a lot of accusations against you, most people will assume it has to be some truth to it.
Right.
So, only thing they're doing is like, look, man, I don't know if they're going out seeking these women out, or they're really coming out, on their own free will, or both. But it's just odd how this always happens like this, where one, especially ever since the Me Too movement, here's one case, here's another one, here's another one, here's another. Now every woman you've come in contact with has some type of suit against you. And guess what? We don't know the details of none of these suits, really. Like some of them has come up like, okay, he may have did X, Y, and Z, or his. I think one lady said she took his towel off and his penis might have touched her hand, or he made it touch her hand or something, like like that's an assault. It is. That's sexual assault, especially if he did it on purpose. But like we hear that, and then when we hear all these suits that come out after this, we think all of them are that nature. Where when you actually dig into it, some of them don't even accuse him of doing stuff like that. Some of them accusing him of like simple things, has nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? So I know it's just a weird case in my opinion. And I think the fact that the season is about to start kind of aggravates the lawyer. And this is his way to make sure, look, man, y'all about to let this guy get on the field and we trying to punish him. Here's another suit. Man, it's just giving the NFL a little bit of drawback, like, oh shoot, here's another one. Now we got to investigate this one. You know what I mean? It just make it harder for the Browns, the NFL, and Deshaun Watson, and it's orchestrated by the lawyer. But if he don't get suspended, and he's about to play and he's in training camp, there'll be another suit to come out.
What would the suit be about though? Unrightful justice, something like that?
Nah, it'd be similar thing. Another female that came out that said, "Oh yeah, I massaged him too, and he assaulted me."
This is ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
I don't mean to lie. It's just, man, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I mean, if you want to be real about it, man, just charge the dude with prostitution and charge the females with prostitution as well. I mean, because if we're being real about it, he's at the very most, he's probably doing a cash action for favors.
Absolutely.
And that's what it is. And he can't just come out and say, all right, man, I was buying butt. He just can't come out and say that. But I mean, just do it. Look, okay, get me for 24 counts of prostitution, but send them to jail too.
Which we know won't happen. We know that.
Yeah, because you can't.
They
you
could
can
come
also
out and say he paid me to do this and I did it. Oh, he did what?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's true. Because they did get Cosby for a lady that he had a 15-year relationship, a 20-year relationship with, and she still came out and was like, yeah, I was only doing it, but because he was giving me money, but I didn't want to do it, so it was assault. Like, wait. You was with him for 20 years on the side,
right?
And he was paying your rent.
You didn't want to do it for 20 years.
Yeah. And he was paying your rent, and then he stopped paying your rent, and then you came out with a suit. That's odd, but it's neither here nor there, man. But anyway, man, I just wanted to get out here and hit these topics, man. And man, we'll watch the game Wednesday, man, and then I have a post game after the fact. And then man, come join me. If you're watching now, man, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page and share it with some folk too as well, man. And next time call in too, man. Whoever those people that's watching right now, call in. But we'll do it again on Wednesday, man. Dino, appreciate you, bro.
Always, man. Always. Have a good one, man.
All right, no doubt.
All right.